So should the Spurs go ahead and dump those Atlanta picks?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs here in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for KN5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. And yeah, happy hump day. As always, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Friend available wherever we get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, KN5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. Do that right now and subscribe. You guys are the everydayers. Keep coming here every single day. What are we talking about today? We're talking about those Atlanta picks. Yeah, the Spurs still have a few of those picks from the DeJounte Murray deal. Is it time the Spurs go ahead and dump those? Not necessarily because they have to or be forced to, but because Atlanta has made some moves that they're kind of looking like they're not going to be a lottery-bound team. We're going to discuss that. And Giannis, yeah, that rumor just won't die. We're going to be talking about that. And then, my goodness, we got to say bye to Mamu. Yeah, reports are out there. He's done. No more silver and black. He's off up north to Canada. We're going to be discussing that and give you some of our favorite moments with Mamu. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that with our guest. Look who is back, everybody. He's been MIA from Locked On Spurs. Why? Because you just spin the globe and then stop it wherever you want. He's probably in that country. Spin it again and stop it. Oh, Asia? Yeah, he's there. Spin it again. Bermuda? Yep, he's there. Jimenez, welcome back, buddy.
Oh, I'm tanned and everything, baby. Barbados, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic over the past 6 months. I love the beach.
It's not for lack of trying to get him on. He's just been traveling. That's pretty much it. He's just been traveling. And then, of course, he has his day job and he has Area 210 podcast. Make sure to check that out on YouTube and subscribe to that ASCP. Make sure to follow Jimenez on X at MJ Acquired Taste. But Mike, man, we missed you, buddy, man. Everything okay? You're doing fine? Obviously, it is because you're traveling.
Fantastic, baby. Fantastic. And I'm looking forward to this upcoming Spurs season, man. We usually, this is the time of the year where it's kind of dead talking Spurs talk, but yeah, it's been lively this summer.
My goodness, we talked about the Cornet signing yesterday, running into another move. Mamu later on to this show. Yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel, especially during free agency period. But everybody, Jimenez is a little bit tight on time, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So, Jimenez, you brought up free agency, right? And one team that's been making moves is Atlanta. So we look at Atlanta, right? They've been making moves. They brought in Porzingis. They brought in Luke Kennard. They had their first pick overall. They have Risa Shea going into the second season. Trae Young is going to be Trae Young. This team is seemingly not looking like it's going to be a bottom dweller in the East. They could make some noise in the East. We'll see how that plays out. But be that as it may, Jimenez, the Spurs have those picks still from Atlanta from the DeJounte Murray deal way back when. Mike, is it time to dump those now? Just get rid of them now because they're seemingly going to be worthless.
Well, there's two more left, right? The 2026 swap and the 2027 unprotected first-round draft pick. You never know what's going to happen with these picks, man. It's funny because, again, I was criticized back in the day about the DeJounte Murray trade. Everyone was like, what a haul the Spurs got in exchange for DeJounte Murray. We got, 3 first-rounders, and we got a swap. But I told him, I said, that first-rounder isn't going to happen. That Charlotte pick, which was top 14 protected, was never going to convey. It was going to turn into second-rounders, and guess what happened? It turned into second-rounders, right? Now, we used one of the picks this year to get Carter Bryant, so he's the number 14 pick in this year's draft. We got that one already out of the way, right? So hopefully that turns out to be a very good pick. We have the swap in 2026, which may or may not happen, and the unprotected pick of 2027. It's not looking as rosy of a haul as it used to be, but the fact of the matter is that you can't do anything about it, man, because if we know that those picks are turning into trash, they know, whatever the opposing team knows, that they're turning into trash as well. So it's just one of those things where you look at it. I mean, weird things can happen, right? We know that there's a history of injuries with Trae Young. There's a history of injuries with Kristaps Porzingis, and then maybe there's not a chemistry issue. On paper, Atlanta looks like they're getting better, so much so that DraftKings has Atlanta right now with the 5th best odds to get out of the Eastern Conference. So knowing that, chances are that swap won't happen. But weird things have happened in the past. Maybe there's an injury that'll tank the season for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. I'm on camp. Get rid of them now. There's no need to hang on to them. At this point, you could read the room, everybody. If you read it, Atlanta's not going to be a bad team. And okay, sure, if the Spurs stick in with them and they keep it, maybe it's what? If Atlanta plays well, maybe they're late teens, maybe lower end of the first round. And that could still have some value, especially for teams that are looking to rebuild. Look at Phoenix, the Lakers, if they want to do a deal. Who knows what Milwaukee's going to do? Maybe Boston, is looking to bring in some young players that fit under those whole apron things there. So there could be some value there. But you're in the financial business world, Jimenez. Isn't it feel like, hey, the stock is high right now? Get rid of it.
Well, it's not high. It was high 2 weeks ago. Right now, that stock is tanking more and more. And beyond all those players that you mentioned, Reece Arce, who had a good rookie campaign, first team All NBA rookie.
Yeah.
You mentioned Porzingis and Kennard and all these players that they brought in. They also got Asa Newell as their rookie coming in, first rounder. Asa Newell, who happened to be one of my favorite college players coming out of Georgia this past season. And I wanted the Spurs to get him at number 14, putting that on record, by the way. You look at that's a team that's rounding into shape, rounding into form, and they're doing this on the fly. We all thought 12 months ago that this team was going to sell itself for scraps, that they were done, they were going to circle the toilet, and we were going to get 3 lottery picks in a row from them, and it's not happening. Fact of the matter is that these picks right now are losing value by the day. And I hate to say it, as a Spurs fan, we have to hope and pray for injuries over there. It's not the Christian thing to do. It's not the right or moral thing to do. But let's just say if there's a hamstring issue involving Trae Young, let's just say that if Kristaps Porzingis gets another injury like we normally see, let's just say I'm not gonna be that sad if that happened.
All right. Well, it just feels, as you mentioned, maybe the stock, in this case, the decline, any rally. So why wait till it plummets and bottoms out next season when you can do something now? And one thing that the Spurs could do right now is maybe chase Giannis. Yeah, those rumors won't go away when we get back, when to discuss that. Should the Spurs go ahead and make a play? Hey, it's not us just talking about it too. Remember Shams Charania, that whole report he had saying like how maybe the Spurs didn't make a move for KD for a bigger fish down the road. We're discussing that and more right here on Locked On Spurs with Mike Jimenez. You want to follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. He is with the Area 210 podcast on YouTube. Hey, I want to talk about Monarch Money. You got to get to Monarch Money right now. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a lot more than that. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, invested, spending in one place, in addition to managing your money so you're building wealth. Look, they have so many things you can do. You can track where you're spending the most money, like maybe it's on takeout or subscriptions. Perhaps it's the app that you need to make life easier for you and manage your money on a day-to-day basis. Got a financial goal? Let Monarch Money help you there. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Mike Jimenez. He's with Area 210 Podcast. Make sure to follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. We were talking about your silver and black. And, the last segment, we talked about those Atlanta picks, right? They're kind of rapidly declining in value. Jimenez and I, we're kind of like, yeah, maybe it's probably time to make a move, burn them before they completely plummet. And, of course, Jimenez brought up a good point. Things could happen, injuries. Maybe it doesn't work in Atlanta, and those picks become valuable. But Jimenez, there's a rumor that just won't go away. That's Giannis to San Antonio. It keeps on popping up over and over. It feels like it's almost every day it pops up. Now, if the Spurs going to make a move, is Giannis the move to make right now?
Well, I mean, do you want to have Dylan Harper on this team? Do you want to have Stephon Castle on this team? Because if so, then no. Because that's what it's going to take. Because if you're going to have these draft picks tank in value, and that's going to be part of the trade, then something of value needs to be given in return. And that value was going to be Dylan Harper or Stephon Castle or both. And so is it the trade to make? I mean, I know that there's a certain segment of the fan base that wants this to happen and wants it to happen now. I wouldn't be against it, but really you're mortgaging your future for a couple of years of a window there. If the Spurs believe that they're actually building something that's going to be sustainable year after year after year, something that we're now seeing with the Oklahoma City Thunder, now that we're seeing with to some extent the Houston Rockets as well.
Sure.
Then I understand wanting to stay the course. The easy way to the top, though, is to get Giannis. But to make that shortcut to the top, you have to get rid of star players. And you have to get rid of a lot of players. Got to get rid of probably Devin. Probably got to get rid of Harper, Castle, Keldon, and probably 5 players and 4 or 5 draft picks easily to make this happen. At that point, you've got Wemby, Fox, and Giannis, which is great, but not a lot after that, right? So, would I be excited about that? The idea is that the Spurs haven't done much of anything in the offseason because they're trying to make a move for Giannis. And if they commit themselves to certain players and certain salaries, that they're not going to be able to either offer them to Milwaukee in exchange for Giannis, or they might not be attractive to Milwaukee in exchange for it. But it's kind of a weird situation to be in, right? To not make moves at the chance of getting Giannis. As opposed to saying, you know what, we're going to make ourselves a better team by doing what we can right now. It's the cross your fingers, hope and pray that Giannis is going to become available and that Milwaukee is going to agree to the term that the Spurs are willing to offer.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation.
That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Yeah. Look, I've been on record saying you got to pull the trigger. If it costs you a Harper or Castle, for me, though, not both. But it's one of those guys. I mean, you do it, man. This is a Hall of Fame bound guy. This is like almost like perfect compliment to Wemby. It's almost too good to be true. You do it, man, because championships are hard to get. And sure, the Spurs don't want to skip steps, but just as I think off my Locked On Spurs hat, Media Rove hat, and putting on just a fan hat, you do it. You get the titles now. And he will propel the Spurs to that next level. There's getting out of the rebuild, Jimenez, but with Giannis, there's putting dynamite around the end of that tunnel, blowing it up, getting out there on an express train to that title. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Imagine the value of the team if that happened. Imagine the eyes on this thing. How many ESPN games would we get? How many ABC games would we get?
Tons. And just the winning and the challenges and the competitiveness and just a signal to Wemby that, hey, we're bringing in top quality guys here to surround you with. Here you go, because he's going to have a looming contract soon down the road. So there's that. But I get the other side of the fence too. You brought it up, mortgaging your future for a guy that maybe gives you 4 or 5 good years. And after that, the decline begins. Because right now, Jimenez, he's in his peak prime right now. He's in it. This is it. He's in it, and you can squeeze out 4 to 5 years out of that. I think you do it. But if Milwaukee is asking for a Herschel Walker type deal back in the day in the 90s, then no. Then I put my foot on the ground and say, no, we ain't doing that, Milwaukee. But Jimenez, why do you think this deal or this rumor, Giannis and San Antonio, keeps popping up? It keeps on popping up almost weekly.
I think it keeps popping up because Milwaukee may not have offered Giannis the team that he wants, right? Because maybe there's some rumblings over there that he is, in fact, unhappy. One of the things about Giannis, he seems to be a pretty stand-up guy. He's not in the media. He's not in front of everybody. He's out there in Europe enjoying time with his family. They made moves. They got Miles Turner from Indiana, right? They got rid of Dame. The whole thing about Dame was like we're gonna get out of his contract, but that's dead money year after year after year after year over there in Milwaukee. That's not a recipe for success. Now I commend them for going out and getting Miles Turner, but is Giannis going to be excited by having an 11-year vet come in? And Miles Turner, very good player, right? It hurts Indiana that he's not there anymore. But is that an exciting enough of a move for Giannis to look around and think to himself, you know what? I'm going to stay. I want to stay long term. We got Miles Turner over here. Is that the move that's going to make him happy? Or is the move going to be playing with Fox and Wemby? That's a more attractive move right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, but obviously free agency period just began, so we don't know what Milwaukee can do. They have something cooking down the road for Giannis, but it is interesting how it just won't die. And it just, for me, it's how do you pass up on a generational player like Giannis? How do you do that? If you have an opportunity to do that, you make it happen. Hey, you're in the financial world, Jimenez. It takes money to make money, and yeah, the Spurs do have money. But do they have scared money, Jimenez? You think that's the big question? Do you think the Spurs are sitting on some scared money?
Well, I mean,
and by money, I don't mean financial cap space. I mean money like in players, draft picks, even money too. Yeah.
It reminds me of that Homer Simpson line that was back in the day. Is either Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin, where they were saying, "Yeah, but they offered me a mystery box. You know what you're gonna get. The surprise right here is at hand." Or you could be given the mystery box. And a lot of Spurs fans like the mystery box. We want to see what happens with these Atlanta picks. We want to see what happens with, the 2030 pick and the swap and that Boston pick and all that stuff. Or you could just simply take what's available to you. My whether I'm going to be called a flip-flopper on this changes day to day. Okay, the reason why it changes is because about a month ago, I was thinking to myself, yeah, you go get Giannis. And then I changed my mind when the Spurs won the lottery, got the number 2 pick because I was excited about Harper. But now seeing these Atlanta picks go south, it's like, okay, go get Giannis. It's one of those things where it's like a tennis match of emotions going,
it is.
Get him, don't get him, get him, don't get him. And that's not flip-flopping. That is just changing with what's going on. We didn't realize Atlanta was going to be this good and those picks were going to be trash, potentially, more than likely trash. We didn't realize certain things were happening. We didn't realize we were going to get Dylan Harper. We didn't realize, so much has happened to the Spurs franchise since May that it's kind of overwhelming, right? And now the Spurs go out and get, a free agent out of Boston. And you think to yourself, what's that going to look like? Twin Towers, a 7'4" guy and a 7'2" guy patrolling the area. Do you get excited about that? Or is it going to be more exciting to say, you know what? Heck with this 10-year window for Wemby. Let's go after Giannis and get this 3-year window going. Because although you say he's at the height of his powers, I disagree. I think he's starting the decline. He's still near the top, but he's starting the decline. It's kind of like going up a roller coaster, the tick, 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 tick to the top. Yeah. He's already making his way down. But I don't think it's going to be a steep decline. But I think he's starting to come down a little bit. Still a top 5 player in the NBA. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but I don't think he'll ever be as good as what he has been the past 2 years.
I'm going to leave that picture up there so everybody can see that. Can you imagine that on the same team? Can you imagine that on the same team? And this is the crazy thing about the Spurs could possibly make a deal to make it happen.
Right.
They got everything you need to pay the sticker price for that within reason, everybody. Within reason.
No, so you're saying sticker price, but everybody else wants it. If you want to go with the investment analogy.
No. I'm saying that. Whatever. But you're in the financial world. There's a word called negotiations. That's what you do.
There is no negotiation on this. There's no negotiation. This is Giannis. You've got 7 teams that want him. It's going to be who's the highest bidder. It reminds me of back in the day, a couple of years ago. Remember when the new Broncos came out and everyone got excited about them? And I saw the sticker price of $60,000. I was like, oh, I'll get one. And I signed up for one. And then they told me it was $80,000. I was like, wait, you told me it was 60. And they're like, well, the demand is so high that this $60,000 vehicle is now $80,000. Completely shady, by the way. And it's one of those things where it's like, what is the price of Giannis? And the price of Giannis is what somebody's willing to pay. And the idea that we're going to negotiate our way to him, we have to look at it and say, what do you want? What's it going to take? What's it going to take? And then
but you have your point where you have to say full stop, though. If they're saying Harper and Carter and the first round, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Harper, Carter, Castle. That's what they're going to ask for. Harper, Carter, Castle.
Yeah.
Multiple first rounders and Vassell.
Yeah, you're pushing to Milwaukee with that.
It reminds me of the Paul George trade. I mean, Paul George was not a top 5 player at the time. He was a top 10, top 12 player at the time. But who did Oklahoma City get in return? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams.
So they did. Yep.
So it can backfire on you.
I mean, just look at that.
If it doesn't work out.
Just look at that. Just look at that.
You're
who's going to score on this team? First of all, who's going to score on this team? Is anybody going to score on this team? Who's going to stop? Dare I say, Jimenez, would this Twin Tower look be better than the Robinson Duncan Twin Tower? Oh,
don't make me say it. Don't make me say it.
All right, we're not gonna make him. Okay, say it, Jimenez. Say it. Say
it. It's sexier. Let me put it to you that way.
Okay, all right. Well, as you can tell, everybody, yeah, we're just kind of pulling our hairs here. Like, okay, well, then there's this, but then there's that, and the pros of this, but then there's a con of that with Giannis. What do y'all think about this situation? Spurs and Giannis, still being rumored again. So you let Jimenez know on X at MJ Acquired Taste, also at Area 210 Podcast. You let me know by following Locked On Spurs YouTube page, leaving a comment, reading the future episode of Locked On Spurs. We're not done talking about your silver and black. We get back, we're gonna tip our cap to Mamu. He is off to Toronto. And we're back. We're here at Locked On Spurs, joined by Mike Jimenez. He's with Area 210 Podcast. Follow that on YouTube, as well as Jimenez on X at MJ Acquired Taste. Well, part of free agency is you got to lose some players, too. And that happened to the Spurs yesterday. Via ESPN Shams Charania, the Spurs big man, well, now former Spur big man, Mamu. Yes, Big Mamu, he is gone. Reportedly heading to Toronto next season. And Jimenez, the writing was on the wall the moment the Spurs signed Cornet. I think it was done. That was all, but that's all she wrote for him. But he left us with great memories on the court, for me in the locker room. Even had perhaps one of his last one-on-one interviews before the end of the season. Yeah, I had that with him. Maybe I'll release it down the road here in the offseason. But, I mean, just what a guy. Just a fan favorite, Jimenez. He's going to get his video tribute next season. He's going to get a standing ovation. He's not dead. We're not eulogizing him. But it just kind of sucks. This is part of the deal of free agency, right, Jimenez?
You say eulogizing. I'm all singing Sarah McLachlan's In the Arms of an Angel. Fly away to Toronto.
You know what? But this reminded me of?
Yeah.
Like Boban. Remember when Boban wanted to stay and pretty much kicked him out? He's like, go get your money. And, Mamu's getting paid, though. He's going to get a pretty penny.
Good for him. Flavor Flav will have a new favorite team now. Probably closer to New York for Flavor Flav. But we'll always remember the 34 points in 19 minutes when Mamu caught fire that one night, that one magical night where the rim was the size of a hula hoop in his mind because everything was going. He was a fan favorite. Everyone loved him. They loved his tats. They loved his hair. They loved his style. They loved his swagger. And every once in a while, he just catch fire, just out of nowhere. And then he'd be like, God, we got to play him more often. And then they play him more often. And it's like, well, why did it only happen that one time? Like once a month, he would just go off for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
And then he reminds me of that frog in that one cartoon, the Hello, My Baby, Hello, My Darling. Where look at it.
The Warner Brothers. Yeah, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, when people are looking, he doesn't do anything. But when people aren't looking, he just blows up. And all of a sudden, it's entertaining. It's the same thing with Mamu. Mamu is that frog. I enjoyed him on this team. If the Spurs had kept him, I would have been fine with it. But when they got Cornet, they basically signaled the fact that they were valuing defense more than they were valuing offense because Cornet brings the defense.
Yeah.
Mamu's more offensive minded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will be missed. Yeah. Well, he definitely could stretch the floor, and Cornet last season did not take any threes last year. So we'll see. But then again, just listen to yesterday's Locked On Spurs. You'll hear what I say about Cornet and that 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, fan favorite. One of my favorite memories of him, as I had the last one-on-one interview with him before he literally walked out the door, end of season. And then 2 was a story I share where we were in the locker room, and it was a typical day. I don't remember if the Spurs won or lost, but whatever. And players are coming in and out of the showers and getting to the locker room. Blake Wesley's there, and Keldon's being Keldon, and Chris Paul is just putting his clothes on and checking his cell phone. And Mamu was just standing at his locker, just standing there. He was already all dressed already, and he's just standing there like this, looking around. The other player comes out. Wemby comes out. The cell comes out. And we all were looking for a particular player. I forgot who it was. So that player hadn't come out yet. And then Mama looks at all the reporters and go, so nobody wants to talk to me? Like a little puppy, like nobody wants to talk to you. So he was just waiting there for somebody to talk to him. And then there was an international media member there wearing a Knicks jersey one time. And a lot of Spurs fans were giving him the business. I'm sorry, a lot of Spurs players were giving him the business for wearing a Knicks jersey. And then Mamu says, you know what, I got you. He goes, I'll get you a jersey soon, So he was just really so a good guy. He will be missed, but you definitely can expect that one game he'll be back in San Antonio when the Raptors come to San Antonio. He will get a thunderous applause from the Spurs fans. So, good luck to Mamu out in Toronto. Hey, we're done talking. We want to hear from you. What do you think about those Atlanta picks? Dump them now. Hit the eject button. They're getting worse. And what do you think about these Giannis Spurs rumors? You got to let us know. You let me know by going to Locked On Spurs YouTube. Leave a comment, read a future episode of Locked On Spurs. Jimenez talked to us about Area 210.
Well, I like doing polls on Area 210. Does Mamu deserve a video tribute?
Oh, he's going to get one.
I'm going to vote no on that one. Come on, man. He was like the 11th guy on the team. Why is he getting the tribute? Does everybody get a tribute these days?
Yes, absolutely yes. That happens.
Why?
Mamu got himself a bro, Daniel. So that should tell you a lot. Well, he ain't still standing here. Obviously, he's going to be coming down soon now. But
it was like 4 or 5 points per game. So what do we do with a tribute 6?
Give him that 1 point.
And he gets a tribute video, man. Well, what's the most egregious tribute?
Hey, Jimenez. Jimenez, I'm going to tweet what you just said right now, right? You realize?
Yes, that's fine. I think Brent Forbes got one.
Okay. I have it on record. Well, Brent Forbes was something totally different. He got a little trouble, and not in a good way.
Mamu does not deserve a tribute video. Time to
cook Jimenez. So I want to wrap this show up quick. So I can cook him ready. Jimenez, tell us about Area 210.
Area 210 podcast. My goodness. It is growing. Our numbers getting bigger and bigger by the week. We've been doing this for about a year and a half, but we started catching fire in the last 6 or 7 weeks, man. And finally, something happened. More and more people are watching, getting more looks and views and whatnot. 2,500 subscribers on YouTube right now. We go Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to about 11:30 a.m. It's Monday through Friday. People watch it throughout the day. It's a good show. We do sports, pop culture, nostalgia, lots of Spurs talk. Jeff, you're oftentimes on the show as well. We have people like James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star on. A lot of people from around the community who are really into the Spurs way of doing things, Spurs way of talk in there as well. So we have a fun time doing it. Again, it's look up Alamo City Sportscast Network or Area 210 Podcast on YouTube. We also play it sometimes on Facebook and YouTube, Facebook and Twitter as well. You can follow me at MJ Acquired Tastes on Twitter.
Absolutely, do that right now, everybody. Jimenez, thank you for coming back to Locked On Spurs. We missed you, but we're glad you're here. And obviously, I'm very happy that you're traveling and exploring the world. So have a lot of fun and continue doing that, Jimenez. Continue doing that. Again, make sure to follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. Everybody else, we thank y'all for being the everydayers, coming here to Locked On Spurs every single day. Again, subscribe on Locked On Spurs YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Cancel Plus app, YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black. I believe we have Vinny Vincenta, my colleague Ken Spide. He's up on deck, and we'll be talking all things Spurs. So for Mike Jimenez, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.